Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name's Amy. I'm an ordained minister, and we are in Bible study. We are in the NIV. We are in the book of 1 Samuel, and we are in chapter 30. David destroys the Amalekites. David and his men reached Ziklag on the third day. Now the Amalekites had raided the Negev and Ziklag. They had attacked Ziklag and burned it, and had taken captive the women and all who were in it, both young and old. They killed none of them, but carried them off as they went on their way. So, because remember, these guys have been encamped there, and there's like 600 people, or 600 fighting men under David that are there. When David and his men came to Ziklag, they found it destroyed by fire, and their wives and sons and daughters taken captive. So David and his men wept out loud until they had no strength left to weep. David's two wives had been captured, Ahinoam of Jezreel, and Abigail, the widow of Nabal at Carmel. David was greatly distressed because the men were talking of stoning him. Each one was bitter in spirit because of his sons and daughters. But David found the strength in the Lord, his God. Then David said to Abiathar the priest, the son of Ahimelech, "Bring me the ephod." Abiathar brought it to him. And David inquired of the Lord, "Shall I pursue this raiding party? Will I overtake them?" "Pursue them," he answered. "You will certainly overtake them and succeed in a rescue." That's kind of cool, right? David and 600 men with him came to Bezar ravine, where some stayed behind. For 200 men were too exhausted to cross the ravine. But David and 400 men continued the pursuit. They found an Egyptian in a field and brought him to David. They gave him water to drink and food to eat, part of a cake of pressed figs and 2 cakes of raisins. He ate and was revived, for he had not eaten any food or drunk any water for 3 days and 3 nights. David asked him, "To whom do you belong, and where do you come from?" He said, "I am an Egyptian, the slave of an Amalekite. My master abandoned me when I became ill 3 days ago. We raided the Negev of the Keretherites and the territory belonging to Judah and the Negev of Caleb, and we burned Ziklag." David asked him, "Can you lead me down to this raiding party?" He answered, "Swear to me before God that you will not kill me or hand me over to my master, and then I will take you down to them." He led David down, and there they were, scattered all over the countryside, eating, drinking, and reveling because of the great amount of plunder that had been taken from the land of the Philistines and from Judah. David fought them from dusk until evening of the next day, and none of them got away except 400 young men who rode off on camels and fled. David recovered everything the Amalekites had taken, including his 2 wives. Nothing was missing, young or old, boy or girl, plunder, or anything else they had taken. David brought everything back. He took all the flocks and herds, and his men drove them ahead of the other livestock, saying, "This is David's plunder." Then David came to the 200 men who had been too exhausted to follow him and who were left behind at Bezar ravine. They came out to meet David and the people with him. As David and his men approached, he greeted them, but all the evil men and troublemakers among David's followers said, "Because they did not go out with us, we will not share with them the plunder we recovered. However, each man may take his wife and children and go." David replied, "No, my brothers, you must not do that with what the Lord has given us. He has protected us and handed over to us the forces that came against us. Who will listen to what you say? The share of the man who stayed with the supplies is to be the same of that of the man who went down to battle. All will share alike." Well, that's true. Not all people in the regiment of an army can go out to war at the exact same moment. If you've got a supply line you got to protect. David said this David made this a statute and an ordinance for Israel from that day to this. When David arrived in Ziklag, he sent some of the plunder to the elders of Judah, who were his friends, saying, "Here is a present for you from the plunder of the Lord's enemies." He sent it to those who were in Bethel, Ramoth Negev, and Jatir. So, making inroads with his own tribe. To those in, oh goodness, it's that little name I can't even pronounce anymore. Aroer, Aroer, Sifmoth, Siphmoth, Eshtuma, Eshtemoa, and Racal, Racal. To those in the towns of the Amalekites and the Kenites, to those in Hormah, Bor Ashan. So hold on. Jeremiah, because there's a whole bunch here I didn't spell. Jerahmeelites, Jeremites, and Kenites, Kenites, and to those in Hormah, Hormah, and Bor Ashan, Bor, separate word, Ashan, Atak, Athach, and Hebron, and to those in the other places where David and his men had roamed. So spreading the wealth, spreading goodwill and wealth for his activities in the area. And also, in his mind, doing what was right, returning at least some of what had been taken from them as an act of as good faith. Because remember, who knows what Saul's been telling people, but David's been too busy just trying to survive to really do much of anything else other than whatever feels right. So, until the next video, friends,